Everybody, it's a Mad Master here. Decided to do one final video tonight, and this video I'm entitling "The Republicans Are Not Your Friend." And this is not a discouragement or encouragement to vote one way or the other. Personally, I don't see the point in voting anymore in general, because for the most part these people disappoint. They lie, they cheat, they steal from your wallet, literally with your tax dollars, and they're corrupted piles of shit for the most part. You know, once in a while, something that like Rand Paul says or does I'll like, or even Ilhan Omar, you know, or someone like that will do something or say something in a tweet that I'll support. But for the most part, I think they're all the same. And we're kind of coming to the precipice that the pendulum has swung the other way as far as tyranny and authoritarianism, because there is a growing contingent of people that are supporting the Republicans not realizing what they're supporting. And this is not to say that I support the Democrats in any way, because they have jumped the shark. They have gone down a road I do not agree with, and it has nothing to do with left-right, mind you, too. This may surprise you. This has nothing to do with my beliefs that are more on the left or whatever. It's more about corruption versus non-corruption, or top-down rule versus bottom-up rule, you know, whatever you want to put it, like democracy versus, authoritarianism, rather than, oh, well, you know, you believe that the government should, or you should be able to have health care, you know, from, you know, without having a job or whatever. You know, it's like that issue does not really add or subtract from what I'm saying, in my opinion. Now, like, say with the whole crisis we've had the last 2 years, what was the country that right-wingers pointed to all the time? Sweden, because they didn't lock down, you know? So these boxes and these labels are really stultifying and limiting. That said, what Republicans are doing right now is shameful, as far as supporting this right-wing Christian fascism. Basically, you know, The Handmaid's Tale was actually a really good book and really good movie in the 80s. The series was propaganda for Democrats. You know, they pretty much, let's just acknowledge that. That said, what does it predict? You know, predicts a lack of sexual agency among women and people in general, and that's what we're facing. What you got to think about this: birth control. The fact that we cannot protect, and I know there's different types of birth control that, oh my God, it's too much after the sperm reaches the egg or whatever. I mean, it's just, you know, it's so ludicrous. They're talking about birth control that doesn't even, I mean, we're talking about like these state governments that want to ban, they want to repeal, or, you know, Clarence Thomas was talking about repealing the 65, I can't recall the name of the actual you know, the Supreme Court decision. But basically, if you were married before if you were unmarried before 1965, you didn't have the right to use birth control. There were some states that could be prosecuted for using birth control. I don't know if that includes condoms, but, you know, everything else, and who knows with condoms too. I mean, these right-wing fucking Christian fascists, I mean, they have been trying to overturn Roe versus Wade for 50 years, and they feel empowered. Now, I don't care if you're pro-life. I really don't. Like, I understand that you have this belief. I don't agree with it. But if you're against birth control, If if you think that we should turn back the clock on that simple premise, that is, I think you're fucking insane. I'm not going to say get off my channel or something like that. I'm just saying, if you're against birth control, like I'm talking about, like the pill, and it's not just some selfish, thing. I just want to nut in girls without, any kind of consequences or whatever. I mean, of course, every man wants to do that, but every heterosexual cis man wants to do that. But I'm just saying, and there's been times in my life where I got to do that, thankfully. But and it's pretty gross. One of my favorite comedians is Andrew Dice Clay. So of course, certain relatives be like, "Why do you swear so much? Why you swear so much?" Whatever. They may not understand these videos. What I'm trying to say is that this is dangerous shit. Like if we like, I don't think it's going to be like every state is going to ban birth control or something like that. I'm not saying that, but who knows if more and more Republicans get elected, some of the real nutcases might do that. I'm not saying DeSantis will do that. I'm not saying that Rand Paul would do that, or God forbid even Trump necessarily. But who knows? If he thought it was politically advantageous, then he might sign something that makes it harder, at least, So this issue, it does go along with the gay rights thing too. It's like, gay marriage is enshrined in a law. Why does that have to be overturned? Like, I don't give a shit about Christian values. Like, there's some Christian, I used to be really, like, extremely anti-Christian, like, more than I am today. But, like, I find some value in some Christian myth and lore and ideas. But at this, we're not a Christian, nation, in the sense that there was like these like fundamentalist Christians that founded the United States. I mean, for the most part, they were in the age. It was on the decline at the time to some extent. There was the Age of Reason, as they called it. Thomas Paine, Thomas Jefferson. They were not like big time Christian people. Of course, there was Christians involved in the Revolution too, and there were like more fundamentalists or Quakers or whatever, involved with a lot of that stuff. But we're not a Christian, Judeo-Christian nation. You want to trust these these people that a lot of these people are aligned with these televangelists, and these nut jobs that started the Satanic Panic. I mean, why do you want to be aligned with people that started the Satanic Panic, that tried to ban Mr. Oz here, I mean, why do you want to be aligned with these people? The Democrats suck. I know. They're fucking stupid as hell. They're terrible. And I'm not saying that you should vote for them. But why support the other side that's just as bad or even worse in some ways? I mean, why? It doesn't make any sense to me. Wokeism is such a threat to me. I have to vote for the fundamentalist Christian who wanted to burn records. Oh, so you want the old way of the old censorship back. You want the old censors rather than the new censors. The woke censors are the new censors. The old censors are the fucking nutjob Christian fundamentalists from the 80s. You want those people back? I mean, I like the rebellion against them. It was kind of fun, but I don't want that shit back, especially if they're ban birth control. I'm not saying they're going to ban birth control, but there is that discussion being had amongst some people, and that's a tragedy beyond any kind of abortion ban. You could say all you want about abortion. I'm pro-choice. I respect people that are pro-life, but if you start fucking with birth control, then fucking jump off a cliff. Like, maybe you're Catholic, whatever. Okay, you don't believe in birth control, whatever. But it's like, come on. We live in 2022. Why would you not believe in birth control? I mean, especially if you're watching my channel, like, if you believe, like, there's any congruency with rock and roll and metal, and, like, wanting to ban birth control, yeah, then you're why are you why I'm not saying get the fuck off my channel, but why are you on my channel? You know, if you believe in that kind of shit, why would you believe in that? I don't, birth abortion's one thing, and like I said, I could see where you're coming from with that, but with the birth control thing, I am lost. I am fucking lost, and being the somewhat in the past especially anti-Christian fundamentalist, at least that I am, I don't see how that's like consistent at all with anything. And you can be against wokeism. You can watch Lotus Eaters and Critical Drinker and all these Razor Fists, right wing channels and all this stuff. Stick, Sex, and Hammer, which to me, Stick, Sex, and Hammer doesn't have a political home, but he pretends that he does. But I think he's. If the libertarians were more powerful, I would hope that he would go to that instead of the Republicans, which he definitely gives a free pass to way too many Republicans, in my opinion. Just like a lot of the leftists, I like give too much free reign to the Democrats, even though like Kyle Kalinske is like too apologetic for them too. He's kind of like the mirror to me. He's like the mirror side of Stick, Sex, and Hammer. Like, I like a lot of those guys' ideas, but they're giving too much credence or excuses for these people that are pieces of shit, in the political sphere. So yeah, I don't believe that you should vote for Republicans or Democrats. I mean, I don't know what I would say as far as voting at this point. I don't see a point. The ship is gonna crash anyways. Now, if we want to talk about like a non-woke populist left-wing kind of candidate, like Bernie Sanders to some extent pre-2016, Dennis Kucinich, someone like that, like, that's a different story than, AOC giving people shit for not using the word Latinx or something. Those are two different things. And, it's like, there's really no hope. I'm not trying to be black-pilled or whatever, or like negative, but we're in a precipice of a huge major domestic crisis. We're already in a domestic crisis, but I'm just saying, like, all this shit that's been going on. But like, there's got to be a better change than this thing. So I mean, if I want to choose between globalism and fundamentalist Christianity, it's like choosing between slicing my own throat and shooting myself in the head. I mean, actually, maybe it's just both shooting yourself in the head, because both sides of this are so repugnant that it's like there's no choice with that. Like, as far as like eating the bugs, living in the pod for the billionaires, right? Or being under a Christian theocracy. They're both horrible choices. Horrible for people's rights. I almost say, like, dare I say, like a moderate they wouldn't be a non-globalist neoliberal, I guess. Like let's say there was like someone that was an actual moderate Democrat, but like more like 80s or 70s style moderate Democrat. They might be called a Republican by some people, like on the left now, but they wouldn't be like pro. They would actually be like more like protectionist economically, and like want things localized, and like that could work, right? Not a Clintonian figure, but maybe, dare I say, like Jimmy Carter type of figure. I mean, the globalists were already with them, like Brzezinski and other people like that were already infiltrating the whole thing. And globalism has been around for a long time, globalization, but like back in the day, it wasn't as popular amongst the elites, even. I think Nixon, and then people after that, Kissinger, and then these people Like the people before, like Alan Dulles and stuff, people like that were still bad people. Don't get me wrong, but it's like it became this thing to like want this like internationalist, like top down cartel ran system that they're trying to go for. And is that the nightmare of the authoritarianism of that is bad enough, but now we have this other side that's trying to push this Christian fundamentalism on people. I mean, it's one thing like being opposed to giving hormones to like 6-year-olds or whatever, but it's a whole other thing wanting to ban birth control and like, you know, ban speech, ban books from your fucking library. Like that's actually happening, and it's happening on both sides. It's happening on the right wing side too. It is. They just did that in Wisconsin. They said they didn't want to have this book about the Japanese internment camps in their school. It's like it's a nightmare. There's no I mean, like I said, there's no political home for me because both sides are repugnant and horrible. Like I said, I think the only way would be like a JFK kind of like non-internationalist figure, like that wants to like bring things back to America, and stuff like that. Like it would be like, it'd be like Trump, but not like with the Christo-fascist at the helm, like a Trump without the Christian bullshit in there, but like more liberal kind of stuff in there. I don't know. Maybe I'm barking up the wrong tree with that, but that's what I'm trying to get at. Is that this nightmare is awful. So I don't think the Republicans are your friend. They're not better. They're not better than the woke, crazy, blue-haired, fat, fucking leftists, leftoids, or whatever you want to call them. They're not any better than that. Sometimes they're worse. I mean, these people are nuts. I mean, some of these people are nuts, and they believe the craziest shit. And the conspiracy thing is entwined in the Republican Party. And I believe, I'm somewhat of a truther, so I believe I buy like I watched a Q video once that it was like the first 2 minutes I was like, yeah, I agree, and then it went into some crazy shit about the family and all this stuff. I don't give a shit what you want to call your family. If people want to have a weird type of family, that's fine. If people want a traditional family, it's fine. It's your fucking choice. But when you're making the choice for people, that is authoritarianism. No matter what you say. You say, well, we've lost our traditional values. Ugh. I don't care. I like some of these new values. I like to be able to go out and, have sex in the back of a bar with, on someone's car, I like those. I mean, that's a little gross. I'm sorry. I'm just saying. I like to be able to do things that I want to do. I like to. Why did I put that in there? I'm not going to edit that out. But anyways, I like to be able to just like go around and do whatever I want. With a girlfriend or, without having to be married or, oh my God, you got to be in a relationship for 5 years and then get married and only on that night you have to then you can have sex. I don't like that. It's stupid and insane. It's insane. And the whole idea that like people want this to be back. These people, they want to make a lot of money too. Don't get me wrong. Just like the Democrats with their fundraising emails. These Republican, like these right-wing evangelicals and stuff, they want to make money too because it's all a money game. Politics are about at least like 50% of it's about making money. I've learned that the last 2 years with all this shit that's happened. Pretty much, it's about making money. So, and that could create a little room for less actual tyranny because at least there's this other element. It's kind of like Trump was not Hitler because he was more of a con man. Like an ideologue is way more dangerous than a con artist, right? In my opinion. But yeah, these people that are pushing this agenda of this radical right-wing Christian bullshit, and if people are offended by me saying that, so be it. I don't want the people that I was fighting in the 80s. This is what it is. the people that we were fighting in the 80s, the Pat Robertsons, the Jerry Falwells, the PMRC, because they're they had an O for occult on there. Oh, there we go. Hey. Anyways, they had an O for occult rating that they were going to do with the PMRC. The PMRC were a very right-wing evangelical organization, but Al Gore was a Democrat. Susan Baker was a Republican. Did you know that? I didn't. Or most of them were actually Republicans too. They were wives of Republicans, other than a few Democrats. Obviously Tipper Gore was numero uno, but still. Did you know that Al Gore was a right-wing Republican who had the tobacco lobby up his ass and was even pro-life until the mid-'80s? Did you know that? Oh, well, he's just a Democrat. He's a liberal. He's a liberal. No, dumb fuck. Don't watch Dinesh D'Souza ever. That guy is one of the dumbest people on the planet. I don't give a shit. There's some right-wing commentators, I think, that have a lot of good things to say or say some good things a lot of the time, even though I disagree with them on a lot of other stuff. But Dinesh D'Souza and people like that are just pieces of shit anyways. But yeah, we do not want to go back to the 50s with sexuality, and that would be banning birth control, banning all this stuff. And, you could say there's grooming, just like all these people, women that are saying they were groomed even though they were 25 years old and shit like that. It was just really dumb. But but at the same time, it's like saying, having sex ed that's a little bit more on the descriptive side for really young ages. I don't think it's grooming. It might be inappropriate, but it's not grooming. So yeah, so I do not support this new push to have more Republicans. I think Republicans are the enemy. I always did, kind of, but it took this Roe versus Wade thing. But not only that, but this new thing that talking about birth control, and it could be a lot of liberals trying to fundraise and say they're gonna come after your birth control next. Just hey, that sounds familiar. Come after something next, right? That sounds a little familiar. So both sides partake in that bullshit, right? They're gonna come after your guns next. Anyway, the gun thing I'm a little more mixed on, by the way, I should say, because I definitely have more of a libertarian streak in me, especially in light of recent events. But I do not want to have an underground, like a black market. You buy this, you get the Depo-Vera shot or whatever there's different types of shots, or you get the foam. You have to go to a dealer on downtown in some kind of shady or scummy neighborhood, and you got this we got the stuff. You have to do that just to have sex with your girlfriend. Fuck you, and go fuck yourself if you believe that. That's about all.